Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
Every 10 or 15 years, a film is produced that is so overwhelming, so forceful in its impact, that it becomes deeply embedded in the mind.
Hey, it's Nancy Ann Ritter, the girl in Bathroom from Wes Craven's Scream, the 1996 original Scream. And you are listening to Still Toking with...
Hi, this is Dee Wallace from E.T. and Cujo, and you're listening to Still Toking with on the Dorkening Podcast Network.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. We have very active lifestyles. It's not all wandering the countryside aimlessly or scaring passing motorists. And we all love a good cup of joe. And there's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. Bold, robust, delicious. It's coffee that can wake the dead. With over a dozen different roasts and flavors, Deadly Grounds can satisfy the most finicky of coffee addicts. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. You're watching Still Token with. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have an awesome show scheduled for you today. Our guest, you know what? We're going to get right into it because our guest is so awesome. Jar Jar, actually, sorry, Ben.
Oh,
Ben.
wait a minute. I was the guest.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I want to know how Jar Jar got on the screen before me.
Hey.
That shit don't fly.
I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, you hit a lot of the wrong buttons a few seconds ago.
Right. So, no, man, I'm super psyched about tonight's show. I mean, I've been getting psyched every week with all the amazing guests we've had on, but, you know, tonight's just, I'm really psyched. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. Friggin' Commando, Inner Space, Weird Science, Mad Max 2, and...
Dude,
I thought Jeff was getting to introduce him.
Well, Jeff,
Leo, you sound like you're jumping the gun. You're like,
well, I'm excited.
I think Leo had a dork moment.
This is like a huge.
Well, hell, if you want to get like
Still
that, I
Toking
mean,
moment.
you can be like, you know, Power Rangers, Time Force, as Resnick. I mean, come on.
Dude, I'm psyched that you guys asked me to come on with you for this. I was like, why do you need me? But hey.
Jar, okay. Jeffrey.
Hey, happy Wednesday. I'm psyched. This is awesome. I'm not going to delay. We're just going to get right into this. I'm going to introduce our guest as Freddie Mercury on steroids.
Oh, dear.
Let's bring it right into the gutter right when we start, huh? Mr. Vernon Wells, how are you?
I am very, very well. No, I'd rephrase that. I was until you brought up that comment.
Hey, Pablo.
I figured I'd just get it done.
Yeah, he's going to bring you right in the gutter, Vernon, real fast.
God damn it. No, the funny thing is about that comment is I never saw it. And somebody, and the first time somebody mentioned it to me, they had a copy of Mad Magazine. And it had that with the character in the actual comic, within the comic, they had a drawing with me, and it had across the front of my costume, "I am not Freddie Mercury on steroids." I just looked at it and went, "What?
What does that even mean?"
An actor, you know, we don't see that shit.
Right. I read that and I was just, I put the two images in my head and I'm like, fuck yeah, absolutely.
Hey, if you've got to be compared to someone, that's not a bloody bad start, I'd say.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know, considering the fact that you're also a singer, which we'll get into later.
Yeah, my mother was actually a songwriter. She wrote for Slim Dusty and people in Australia, sort of country and western. And when I was born, she gave that away because you didn't have back then. You didn't have a child and a career, God forbid. And out of her children, I was really the only one that ever had an inclination to follow in her footsteps. So I thought that the best thing I could do was I'd go out and become a singer in rock bands, because my mother had an amazing voice, and I was fortunate I got a little bit of it. And so I started singing with bands, and the good old sex, drugs, and rock and roll. In our case, it was sex and drugs. Nobody actually sang a lot, but
What was the name of the first band?
it was called Incas, INCK, Incas, ERS, Incas Inc, INK, like ink.
Incas Inc.
Which was sort of a garage band, I guess you'd say, with a group of guys. We all grew up together. Actually, Gary Anderson, who was big time in the heavy rock way back. He grew up like a block away from me, and we all went to school together, and it was like that kind of thing. We're all friends who knew each other, grew up together, and we started a band just for the hell of it. And it just sort of went from there. I when the Incas sort of broke up, I just went into singing with, I guess you'd call them now, a studio bands.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I did that for quite a while, until I actually, George Miller destroyed my life and made me an actor, damn it.
I would curse him. The hell?
I curse him every night, damn it. How dare he? No, that was kind of the end of it. I started acting and just went on from there.
And one of the first things that you get into, from what I read, I didn't write it down, so I don't know the name of it, but it was some kind of an erotic movie you were in, right?
Yeah. My mother, bless her soul,
Really?
used to. If ever I was at home with my friends and I was being an ass, my mother would go to the cabinet and take out the videotape and say, "Oh, by the way, this is what my son does for a living." Pop it in, and I would go apeshit. It was called Australia After Dark. I like to say friendly that after that film was shot, I could not stand to look at or taste strawberries and cream. Sorry, Jeff.
No,
I'll wait until you swallow next time.
That's what she said.
Yes, but yeah.
Hopefully.
Took a while to get over that. But yeah, that was the first thing I did way back. I never usually refer to it as a movie I did, but when we were doing a lot of the publicity for Commando, I remember we were somewhere over in New York, and the producer rang me in the hotel, and he said, "Got a question for you." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I thought Road Warrior was the first film you ever made." And I said, "It was." He said, "Oh." So I was flicking through the channels, and I just happened to see this bare ass going up and down in the frame, and I thought, God, I know that ass. And he said it was yours. So, and I went, oh, well, I don't consider that to be a movie, actually. That was just a lot of fun I was having. Why? And he said, oh, nothing. Weekend. I just wanted to make sure it was our star. Can't do anything, boy. You get caught out. Right. And my mother always said that if I did it, own it. Oh, so yeah. I owned it.
Oh, my.
All right. Well, we brought that train right off the fucking rails right at the beginning, did we not?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
So,
oh, yeah.
Right, so,
12 minutes. That's a new record, guys.
Well, actually, it's for me, it's not, because when I do a convention, they have this bet that when I do a question and answer, how long it will take to go from being nice to sex, and the longest is 32 seconds.
Oh, wow.
That's basically just after I've said, hi, I'm Vernon Wells, and it just goes into some other place.
Oh, so you're used to this shit.
Sorry?
You're used to this then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those nights.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's just like a very small convention. You know, like.
That is true. That is true.
Oh my God.
So Jeff brought up the Australian stuff, but you actually did some Australian TV commercials and things as well back then.
Yeah, I did. I was born and bred on a farm. Basically, I lived with my grandfather till I got into my late teens. So I could drive basically anything, and I could ride anything. You know, it was just being born on a farm. That's what you did. It wasn't like I set out to be able to ride horses and stuff and drive everything. It's just what you do. And so I got hired a lot as a sort of, back then we kind of didn't say it's stunt rider. It was just a dumb shit over there that could ride the horse. So I got that a lot on television. And I always remember the first time I ever was in a show for, I think it was for ABC Australia. And director was standing there and he said, we need somebody to deliver a line when the star comes out on the onto the stage. Hey, you, big guy up the back, you know, get your ass over here. So I go over and he sort of says, I want you to say this. And I thought, ain't gonna happen. So the minute he turned around, I sort of backed it back through the crowd and he didn't even notice. And they went, okay, rolling, action. Action.
Go.
Excuse me, come here. He did it 3 times and gave up. I just wasn't, to me, acting was the furthest thing from my mind. I did not want to do it. It was like, bleh.
That's interesting.
Riding horses and driving things, that was great. I loved that. And I got paid for it, for God's sake. And, you know, getting drunk with the boys on the side of a mountain in freezing cold, waiting for your turn as an extra was brilliant. But saying something, nah, didn't really fit with me.
Right.
Until, yeah.
Until
well, that guy, that person. No, it was funny because my manager rang me. I'd done a couple of things in television, you know, like in television serial shows like Police Force. What else did I do? Truckies. All these kind of, but they were small roles where I had like a line, 2 lines. I was never anything spectacular. And after I got seen in a stage play by George Miller's girlfriend, Sandy Gore, she told him that she thought he should see me because they were looking for someone for Wes.
Right.
And my manager rang me and she said, you know, this man, George Miller's coming down to see you. And I said, that's nice. Who is he and why? And she said, well, his name's George Miller and he wants to see you about a movie. And I said, oh, okay. Well, what's he done? And he said, have you ever seen
what's he done?
His first picture, which was Mad Max? And I went, no. And she went, oh, dear God. I said, I'll tell you what, it's on at the drive-in at the moment. Go see it. So I went along the drive-in that was playing with, guess what? Steven Spielberg's first movie, Duel. And anyway, next morning, my manager rang me and said, so did you see it? And I said, yeah. And she said, great. What'd you think? I said, Duel was the greatest movie they ever made. It was so good.
Can you give me a part in the second one of that?
Wasn't kind of what she was wanting, actually. But even through that, I still got to play Wes. I don't know. George just wanted me, and that was the end of it.
Right. And they liked you so much, they had to kill you off.
Yep. But it was a fun way to go.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Dramatic fashion with that one.
Yep.
One of my favorite films of all time, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting. Oh God.
There he is.
there's a little story behind me getting it.
What are you doing with that blonde
The role.
guy
Now, see, that's from my favorite. Go ahead.
Yeah.
there? Right?
Weird Science,
Yeah.
Commando, yes.
Yeah.
Me and Arnie playing boys.
Right.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
Freddie.
Oh shit! I was gonna say that even though Wes was killed off, the iconic role that it created spun out of that into Weird Science.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
And it was funny because being the I love directing, by the way. After I finished Road Warrior, I went back. I'd started directing commercials, and I went back to directing because during the time that I was doing all the other crap to live, I got this thing for directing, and I was always behind the scenes, behind the camera, watching, asking questions, doing my thing, and it fascinated the hell out of me. And so I was back doing that, and Joel Silver rang my manager and said, we want him to come over and resurrect the role of Wes in this film. That's a kids' movie. And my manager rang me and I said, yeah, tell him to go stick it. And she went, okay, I'll tell him you don't want to go. So she contacted them and said he doesn't want to come. And they went, all right, we'll offer him this much. So she rang me back and said, they're offering you more money. He said, don't give a shit, I'm not going. Anyway, this went on like 4 times. And by the 4th time, he said, we don't want him. We'll get someone else. And that was the end. And that, for me, that I didn't care. That was the end of it. And they rang back and said, this is our final offer. And my manager rang me and said, get your ass in the airplane and go to America and do the role. And I said, but I don't want to. And I didn't have a lot of choices. She had 2 brothers who were bigger than me, so I had to go. But I never really heard much about. I mean, I came over. I'd looked up who the director was, and he'd done all the angst movies for kids. 16 Candles and Breakfast, and all these wonderful films. And I thought, oh, this will be fun. And I mean, if you look at the cast list of that film, there were so many people in it that went on to become really, really big time actors and actresses. It was just amazing. It was in it. And so I came over, and actually about 3 months ago, I was doing a convention with the whole cast except for 2 or 3 of them that won't come and do that stuff. And we were talking, and a question and answer was just what you guys were doing with me. They said, so why didn't you come over? And I said, well, it had nothing to do with money or anything. I just didn't want to come over to America. I think it terrified me to come over here. And one of the girls from the movie said, oh, you don't know the thing, do you? And I said, well, what thing? And she said, what happened every morning? Because they were filming, by the way, before I came to America. And apparently every morning Joel Silver would come into the set and he would say, I don't know who that bloody Australian thinks he is. He's no fucking big star. He's just an actor, and he just keeps refusing to come over. And he did it every day. He would come over and yell and scream about me. And I went, oh my God. And I didn't realize why he wouldn't talk to me anymore. Now I know. It was just this whole big thing. You're
a diva.
And it was just so funny that all I was being was me. I didn't want to come, and the money didn't have anything to do with it. It was just, I don't want to go to America. But of course, once I came over and did that, and he actually was nice enough to me to say, I'm doing this film called Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you'd be a perfect villain for it. To which the director said, no. And so I said, good. And I went back to Australia, and then they brought me back to do it, which was kind of fun. I had a lot of fun with Arnie. He's like a big kid in a toy shop. Right, him and Mel's the same. Mel is like a big kid in a toy shop. He really is. He pulls pranks and has jokes, but he's highly professional. Right. And he was the one that got me through Road Warrior. I mean, I do strongly believe if I had anyone else as the other star of the film, it never would have come out the way it came out, because he was so into what I was doing, and always had the right words to say, do this, do that, yeah, get that in. Him and George just had me going all the time. So yeah, I granted that they gave me my career. Assholes, I wish they'd take it back, but they won't.
I mean, you're talking about some of the biggest names that I grew up with, being Mel Gibson and Arnold and all that stuff that I watched. And you were right there with it.
Yep.
You were right there with it.
I was having a ball.
Oh, it was obvious.
Yeah, it must have been great to be able to play the villain against all these like big names. I mean, Mel wasn't huge at the time, but like he was up there. So,
But same with Arnie. Arnie hadn't quite cracked it until we did Commando. So it was like I was in
Conan at the time.
I know he'd done it before, but it hadn't launched him. And then he did Commando, which really was the one where he got to play himself more than anything, with all the wisecracks and all that stuff. And that really put him up there, which I think is amazing for him. But it's funny because somebody said to me, how the fuck do you do that? And I honestly have no clue. I get a script, I read the script, I look at the character, I decide what the character is, and I just go and do it.
Right.
And they get all flustered with me because I don't put in 6 months of rehearsal and go to 2 psychiatrists to figure out why I'm an idiot. I just go and do it. And I have fun doing it. I don't know, I can find those really dark places that you can go to.
That's the key right there. You just said it. You have fun doing it. And I believe if you have fun doing anything, it just it's a natural chemistry for you. It's
funny because one of my favorite movies is a little movie I did called Savior of None. It's a beautiful little movie and it's really, really cool. And I was suggested to the director by a friend of mine who was doing the special effects. And they rang me and said, would you be interested? I said, send me the script. And I read it. And I loved the script. I just rang them up, and like an hour and a half later and said, when do I start? And he said, unfortunately, we can only afford you for one night. Yeah. And we're going to have to shoot everything in that night. And it's in a nightclub. And I said, okay, I'm cool. So I sort of got myself together with the character and I flew over up to Sacramento, and they were going to put me in a hotel to sleep for the day because we were actually working from 5 until 9 the next morning, nonstop. So it was straight through. Yeah. So when I landed, our beloved director picked me up, and we were driving out, and he said, I thought I would pick you up because that way we can save time and I'll just tell you what I think the character should be. And I went, I said, how about I tell you what I think of the character and then you tell me where I'm wrong and we'll save a hell of a lot of time. And he went, oh, okay. So I just sort of gave him my wondrous knowledge for about 15 minutes of where I thought the character was and who and why and when and where and the whole bit. And finished, and I sort of said, so what did I do wrong? Tell me and we'll fix it. And Brian was driving the car and he just sort of leaned around, looked at me and he went, fuck you. And I went, what? And he went, I have never been with an actor that dissected a character to that degree and got it all right. I don't like you. That was the start of a great friendship. We're now business partners, but right then he was so put off with the fact that I was this dumbass that could get it to work the way I wanted it. And it turned out to be a great little movie. And I've been so lucky. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I always say the same thing. I've just been incredibly lucky. I tend to get scripts and characters that I can make work.
Right.
And I think also because I have so much fun, people put up with me on the set. I can, a good friend of mine, I won't say his name because he could get in trouble for wasting money, will ring me occasionally and ask me what I'm doing. And I'll say nothing. And he'll say, oh, want to come to the set for a day? We'll pay you. And I go, what? He said, we'll pay you. Just come to the set. What do you want me to do? Hang around, be an arsehole. It'll be fun. And that's basically it. I go to the set and carry on like an idiot and do my thing. And it just keeps everybody going because they're all, getting a little tense. And then I turn up and everybody goes, oh, God, he's here. And I just have fun, It's like, God, it's so much. The movie I didn't have fun, not because I couldn't have fun in it, because I was a little concerned and also because it was very heavy. I did a film with Devani Pinn, if you know who she is. She's a very, very wonderful actress. And Devani and I did a film which is coming out soon called Frost, and there's only the two of us in it.
That's the one that I saw the trailer for, yes.
Yeah, and it's just the most amazing film. But she was 8 months pregnant when we did the film. And it's a really, if you saw the trailer, you know what the film's like.
Yeah.
And I said to her at one stage, I said, you worry me, sweetheart. You're 8 months pregnant, And she went, yeah. I said, why would you do the film? And she said, well, I thought if I wear one of those things that you put on that's a fake pregnancy thing, I won't move or react the same way as I will if I'm shielding a human being in my stomach. And I thought, wow, that's somewhere I wouldn't go. But that was how she felt. There was because it's a close quartered thing inside a car, that the only way she could get that she would, and that she did. She does it brilliantly because she's so protective of that baby.
Right.
Until she eats.
I actually saw the trailer and I should have the screener this week for Frost, the one that they had. But I chose you for this interview for Tales from the Other Side, which is another film that's just as.
So how about we talk about that?
Yeah, I think we were supposed to talk about it.
Well, actually, we do have the trailer. So this actually came out yesterday on VOD.
Yes, it did.
And available wherever you get your movies. And it's 6 awesome stories for this anthology. But here we go. Here's the trailer.
Well, that's been an uneventful evening.
No way. That's Scary Mary's house.
Who's Scary Mary?
She's the town's oldest secret. An old witch that never leaves her house.
Oh, hello, sweeties. Every story you've ever heard has its roots in the occult.
Do you know those kind of stories?
Oh, I know all kinds of stories.
Well now, what have we here?
Just try to explain.
Is poor old Mary truly Mary?
And Tales from the Other Side is out on VOD right now. And actually, we have a couple other ads going on. Here we go.
But before you play the ads, where can they find out about our amazing guest?
In the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. All the links are right there. And there we go.
Thank you for supporting Actors and Others for Animals. We started a long, long time ago. So when you find an organization like Actors and Others for Animals, it sort of unites all of those of us who want to pay back something for all the joy we get out of animals. Please keep up the good work. Believe me, it's deeply appreciated.
spring has finally arrived, and that means summer cannot be far behind. And you know what I'm doing at the end of the summer? I'm going down to Maryland for the Pop and Horror Con, August 27th and 28th. I hope to see you there. It's going to be a great time.
Hey guys, this is Tony Moran. I played the original Michael Myers from John Carpenter's movie Halloween. I'm doing this great convention called the Maryland Pop and Horror Convention. Anyways, can't wait to see you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey kids, George Lowe here, voice of TV's beloved Space Ghost. And you know what would be horrible and horrific and really scary? To miss Maryland Poppin' Horror Con.
Ah, that was cute.
And then Leo disappears.
I know.
Yep.
That was weird.
I know, right? I think Vernon scared him. I think that's what it was. So, speaking of cons, do you have any coming up in the near future where people can come see you?
I believe I fly out on Friday to Tampa. I can only spend one day there, unfortunately, because I've got to come home Saturday night and drive up to wine country Sunday because I start filming on Monday in The Wine Thief, which is kind of a fun film. It's working with my favorite director, Lana Reed, who's wonderful, wonderful lady from Cincinnati. This is like the 5th or 6th film I've done with her. She's wonderful. She gives me all these really cute roles.
Cute roles?
Trying to change my image.
Yep.
Not going to work.
You're a busy guy. I mean, from what I read, you got 7 films in process right now.
It's what?
7 films in process right now that are being filmed is what I read.
Yep.
13 films in pre-production and 16 in post.
Yep.
That's fucking crazy.
I work. What can I say?
Right.
What are you running from, Vernon?
That first movie that he ever did.
Yeah, that was it. That screwed my life.
I'm trying to get away.
Yes.
No, it's always
But
good to be busy, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just finished 4 back-to-back, actually, in 3 different states. It's just like ridiculous. And now I'm having a break after I finish this one. If I don't, my wife's going to break something, and I really need it.
How often per year are you traveling?
A break?
No, how often per year are you traveling to do all these movies? It sounds like you're never home.
You mean like every week?
Every week.
Right.
It depends on, sometimes I get, actually coming out of the pandemic was one of the things, because a lot of films I'd been asked to do had been put on hold. And then suddenly everybody wanted to do their film at the same time. It was like,
Yep.
And so I was, going back to back, getting them all, doing what I was supposed to do. But I just enjoy it. I mean, it doesn't really worry me. I hate being away from my wife. That pisses me off the most. But there's not a lot I can do about it. Next week, she's coming up to wine country, up to Paso Robles, because that's one of the places we go ourselves quite a lot. It's not that far from Los Angeles here.
Right.
But I would prefer not to be away from home so much. But it's that old adage: while they're hiring you, just bloody do the jobs.
Right.
Eventually, someone will get sick of me and go, screw it, get someone else.
I don't see that happening.
Well, there's that whole thing of like, get me a Vernon Wells cheaper than Vernon Wells.
Is there such a thing?
I was about to raise my hand, Jeff. Not fair.
You're not old enough.
It's quite young, Vernon.
I actually did a film in Australia a few years ago, which turned out to be a really, really cool film. But I happened to be in Australia at the time doing a documentary around Australia of all the wonderful places that I love. And they put an ad in the trade paper here in America saying, we're doing this film here, and we wrote a part in it for, this great actor, Vernon Wells, but we don't know where he is. We think he's in America. Besides, we couldn't afford to bring him back. And knowing now, we couldn't afford to have him. But if anybody knows someone that's like Vernon Wells, then we'd love to talk to him. So I rang him up and said, what the fuck do you want? That was it. I think they all had heart attacks at that moment. And it was like, oh, my God. I'm into my third film with them. They're just a pack of maniacs. They're Australian young guys who are like me. They had fun. Right. I mean, they really have so much fun. Their first film that they did took them 2 years to make. Do you know why? Their star in the final part of the film was walking along a creek bed with the heroine and had a heart attack.
Oh, Jesus.
And they stopped everything until he got up, which took 12 months for him to get over the heart attack and the whole thing. And then they went back and shot what was remaining of the film. And you couldn't tell. I knew, and I still couldn't tell. I know exactly where it happened and what they shot later, and I still couldn't tell. They did it so well. That was so good. But they're a lot of fun. I'm supposed to be doing a film with them later this year, which should be good. I'll sneak into Australia because the government knows I'm coming. They'll probably put me away. I don't know. They never know what they're doing over there, bloody Aussies.
They got the jacket already.
Yeah, they're waiting in the airport. Here he comes. All right.
That's him right there. Get him.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. Now you've
Put him
also
away.
done a bunch
Damn
of
it.
You've done a bunch of cameos in some of my favorite shit when I was growing up. MacGyver, Jag.
Oh yes.
You know what I mean? Knight Rider. I mean, the Fall Guy. Really?
Right.
I loved all them. I loved working with the boy when we're doing that. And MacGyver, I love working with him. Actually, the funny story about that, we ran into him one night it was pouring with rain, and we're up at the local supermarket, and we're walking out, and he was walking in, and I saw him, and I said to my wife, oh, look. And she went, Ricky Dean Anderson, I'm going to go over and say hi. I worked with him in the film. She went, he won't remember you. Don't you make a fool of yourself. And I went, no, I'm going to say hi. And she went, I'm not waiting around to see you be an idiot. And she walked out into the pouring rain. And I walked up to Ricky, and he went, Vernon. We're chatting. He said, how are you? I said, great. He said, what's happening? I said, I'm married. He said, oh, wonderful. Your wife with you? I said, she'll be here in about 12 seconds. This little figure walks through the door, soaked to the skin, and walked in. I said, that's my wife. She didn't think you'd remember me, so she left. And he cracked up. He thought it was the funniest thing. But, yeah.
But you do like your women wet, apparently.
I do. Wringing wet. Then I can dry them out.
Right.
Can we just start on something else here? Huh?
I know.
We can't have a straight conversation. It has to go to sex. Damn it.
So, let's
I'm going to blame Vernon for that one.
No, I want to talk a little bit about Tales from the Other Side, which
yes.
I watched in its entirety today. Last Minute Charlie,
Why? I stopped after the second clip, and I said, "Oh, Vernon's in this one. I don't have to watch the rest."
Oh no, it was awesome! I watched the whole fucking thing. It was great.
I'm just kidding. I actually watched the whole thing because we have another guest coming on in a couple of weeks that actually is in one of the further episodes. But
yes.
Right.
Continue, Jeffrey.
I was surprised at the character that you were playing in that. To be honest with you, the segment was called Flicker, right?
Yep.
And you play a
cemetery keeper.
A cemetery
keeper.
Yeah, there you go, right there.
Yep.
Leo's listening.
Yes, he is.
You came on the screen, and I was like, "Fuck, man, that scared the shit out of me." Fucking, dude like that. The fucking black suit. It was awesome.
The character was so much fun because when we were setting up to do it, and I mean they're shooting that opening scene in a where people get buried. Of course they are.
Right.
In the cemetery. And he wanted me, he said, what do you want to do? Because we just want to introduce you. And I said, well, I'm coming up to say hello to him. And he said, can you put your hand on him? And I said, sure. So that was how that came about. When I came over, I put my hand on his shoulder and he spins around. I just said, are you looking for a job? Come with me. Wow. And it's hard, I think. And I loved it. I had so much fun doing it.
Yeah. When that appeared on the screen, I got shivers up my spine because the first thing I thought of was that fucking freaky dude from Phantasm.
I love it.
See, now,
it was just, I love the end of it where, after he goes, when I'm talking, yes, the last one we had, he just sort of vanished. I don't know why. We'd like someone that will stay a little while.
And call this home.
Yes,
and call this home.
Yep.
It was just so nice, and the director was great, and the whole thing was just so nice. They were all young kids having a lot of fun.
Right.
And I love that. I love working with people like that because it's that whole thing of payback. I'm successful and I'm extraordinarily lucky, and I like to give back to the younger generation that's trying to come up. Do something to help. God,
See, Jeff, we should have started filming 20 years ago. Maybe he would have helped us. Now we're old. We're not a younger generation anymore.
No.
Yeah, now he doesn't care about you.
No, you don't care.
Totally wouldn't have. No, I would have gone. Yeah, well, that's a dead end street. I don't want to walk in.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've seen the show.
Actually, talking about that, George, I was in Japan when they were doing the release of Fury Road, and they had some of the cast from the original, then me, and they were doing Fury Road, and they were doing question and answer, and the scuttlebutt was that George may turn up, and he did. He came on stage when we were doing the question and answer, and after we finished, we all went out to dinner. While we were at dinner, I was sitting beside George, and I said, George, can you answer a question for me? And he said, sure. What? I said, after you did the original, you could have had anybody you wanted to play Wes. It was successful. Everybody loved it. You probably had people knocking down your door. And he said, yeah. I said, then why did you pick me? I'd never done a movie. That was my first film. You had a lot of faith in something because I could have fucked it up. And he said, yeah, but I knew you wouldn't. I said, uh-huh. So what did you want? And he said, well, when I cast you, I was looking for someone that if you were walking down a dark lane and you walked into him, you turn around and head for the hills really quickly. And I went, uh-huh. And he said, I needed someone that if I said, jump onto that moving semi-trailer with 12 sets of wheels that you will probably get crushed under, you would go, okay, because you weren't jaded by the business. And I said, yeah, that's fine. And I said, what was the third one? And he said, well, I needed someone that once they put that costume on, every woman in the audience would go, oh, I could fuck him. And I went, you got the first two, you kind of missed out on the third one, I think. And he went, no, I missed out on the first two. I definitely had the third one.
Oh, God. I've never had that in my life.
It's like, you have no idea. At one stage, people would just say, if you will wear that coat, I was like,
Right?
So tough.
They keep trying to get me to wear it at conventions, and I keep getting out of it by saying I'm sick or something. It's one of those things that, it haunts me. It sits in the closet and it barks at people. Dear God.
You put that on, and half the people at the convention would be like, "Oh, look, Freddie."
Yes. Yeah. Freddie's back. Damn it.
You keep that up, Jeff. He's just going to purposely fly to the East Coast just to kick your ass.
He does not know where I live, but I would welcome it.
But I do know where you live, and I would videotape it.
Well, first of all, you'd have to get someone to lift my leg. But apart from that,
I get a dog for that.
you know, I am now.
It's amazing what $20 will get you.
I'm suffering from every dumb shit thing I did in my life now. Like, God damn, I never knew that would hurt so much when I got older.
Right?
Oh, is that what that was?
Oh, yeah. But it's fun. I enjoy. You know what? I just have a ball doing it, and I always say that I've been incredibly lucky. My wife was the person who saved my life. I was pretty close to not being here, and she turned me around. And she's a Buddhist, and I've got that whole Buddhist thing. So it's amazing how it changes you. How the right person that comes along takes you from being this prick to being someone who understands life and understands everybody and is grateful for everything they've got. And that was what actually happened 30 years ago. Young lady stepped in.
35
that was
years
it.
ago. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
That's my story right there. Yep. It's 35 years ago.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah, that's just amazing how something can change your whole attitude to things.
Right.
Which was the main thing. It made me settle down, slow down, and because I was like, I was burning the candle at both ends, the middle, and every other place I could find to put a match. I was totally insane.
Yeah.
Had a Corvette and drove it like I was a rally driver around PCH, which is probably the greatest place for people that drive very fast cars to get killed. And you know. It didn't really worry me that much. Sorry?
That was not a good car to pick.
No.
It's like driving a coffin, literally.
Right.
Yes. But it was gorgeous. I loved it.
Right.
I had so much fun in it.
Oh,
I'm sure. Yeah, it was actually a good friend of mine who was a highway patrol officer, young lady who actually patrolled the area where I lived, who finally, after pulling me up for about the fourth or fifth time, for speeding and being an erratic twit, gave me 7 days to get rid of it, or she was taking my license, my car, and probably jailing me. And I figured she meant it, so I got rid of it.
But so I'm curious what you replaced it with.
Huh?
What'd you replace the vet with?
About 4 women.
That's even a better ride.
Yeah, much better trade. I mean, they weren't as quick, but they were as bumpy.
It could kill you just the same, but it's a lot more fun.
Yes, totally.
It all depends on the mileage.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. A few retreads aren't too bad.
Right? I was going to say how much tread is left.
See, I try to be nice, and you guys just go to the gutter every time. My God.
Well, usually Leo's on screen to direct us back into the realm of where we're supposed to be. But hey,
Yes. Anyway, we're back to Flickr.
Flickr, yes.
Yes, which I had a lot of fun doing. I really enjoyed it. It was one of those fun roles of being the Undertaker.
Right. Have you ever had a bad role?
Sorry?
Have you ever had a bad role? Every role you talk about with such just happiness, everything you've done, has anything gone bad for you in these?
Yeah. I don't talk about them.
Oh, good way to
see.
Go.
When I'm smart, I don't talk about the ones that didn't work. No, I have been extremely lucky in the fact that I've been in films that I've loved and I've had fun doing, but I've gone through hell. I just finished a film up in Canada, 4 stories underground in a Cold War bunker.
Oh.
It was effing cold. I mean, serious to God. I froze my tiny little Watsons off every day. God, it was cold. But it was a great movie.
Which
Had a
movie
lot
was
of fun
that?
doing it.
Which
All
movie
the
would
people
that
in
be?
it with me were total lunatics. It was fun. The director's a total idiot. But that's what made it even more fun.
That's great.
I mean, you know,
There's
he's
a funny
English.
guy.
And, you know, those English, you can't trust them.
Do you want to plug that movie? Are you allowed to plug that movie?
Not until it's done, I can't. No.
Okay.
I got asked nicely not to. I think with a gun pointed at your head when they say don't, you know, it's a nice way of asking me not to do it.
Right.
I've got to be nice. But I can talk about Sally Floss, which I loved.
That was a great trailer. I just watched that tonight too.
It is such a cool movie. When they asked me to do it, I said, "Oh, it sounds really cool." Sally Floss. Okay. What is it? And they said it's a kids movie. It's a series of children's books. And I thought, where would I fit? And the producer said to me, "You're her uncle." My grandfather. And I went, "What?" He said, "You're playing her grandfather." And I went, interesting. And I had, again, Jar Jar, so much fun doing this movie, playing her grandfather, that it was unbelievable. I was in fits most of the time.
That's
I just loved it.
Well, you were a
That'd be
typical
great.
grandfather. You know, there was arrogance and, you know, that grandfather thing. And that's you.
Yeah.
That's your character. It was perfect.
Yep, I loved it. It was just so, and apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody mumbled that they may be doing another, because it's a series of 6 books, I believe. And if it worked when it comes out, if it's successful, they're going to do another one, which would be really keen. I'd be in there in a second to do it. I loved it. So, you know, it's I've been fortunate in a lot of what I've got. You know, I could list. You know, I did a wonderful film. I don't know if you've seen it, called Trouble Is My Business, which a gentleman called Tom Conkle shot, and we did it as a film noir. It's in black and white and in color, but the black and white is how it's supposed to be seen. And that was all done on the green screen except for like 4 shots, and it's just the most amazing film. And yeah, I get into things like that, and a lot of it's because, you know, like Deveni in Frost, she had worked with me probably 3 years ago, and her and I were together in the film for like hello goodbye, basically. But she liked what I did, and she was producing Frost with her husband was directing it, and the first person she thought about was me. She said, "No, we got to have Vernon do it." And I mean, that's, you know, thank God, that's how I get a lot of wonderful roles, as people that I've worked with or know or seen or been around are doing something, and they go, you know, Felicity Cochran would have me in every goddamn movie she ever does in her life if I'd say yes. She just like, "I'm doing a movie." "Yeah, I don't want to do it." But we turn up in movies together and have a lot of fun. We did one called Berry. That's Bear, Grr, E, which is totally the most hilarious thing I've ever done. And a lot of fun. It's just, I enjoy them. I really enjoy what I do, and I always made a deal with myself the first time at 4 o'clock in the morning when the alarm goes off, that I roll over in bed and go, "Ugh, do I have to get up and go to the set? It's over.
Right.
It's finished.
100%.
You're not
While I
having fun
can get up
anymore.
and go, yay, I'm going to the set, you know. I had to make all these arrangements so I could go up and do the show at the weekend for one day. I had to beg the people because they had me booked for 2, and unfortunately the film I'm doing got pushed. So I had to I could say, no, I can't do it because I'm filming, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try and be nice, and it took a hell of a lot of finagling to get them to agree to letting me come up for one day. But I don't mind doing it because I just love, you know, I'll be on the set on Monday working with all the people I love. I've done 5 films with them. I love them. They're great crew, wonderful director, and I have so much fun with them, and I look forward to it.
Right.
And that's the part I
Now,
like the most.
From what I read, you're actually directing a documentary right now, aren't you?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm directing a couple of things at the moment. Not because I wanted to, because I had a big mouth and my partner decided to put my foot in it for me.
The Australian Muscle. That's something
Yes.
you're directing.
That's
Can you tell us
finished.
it's finished. Okay.
Yes.
Is it out yet?
No, I'm not. Excuse me, I'm not sure. There was a whole lot of finagling, wanky going on about that, and I walked away.
There's that Australian wanking.
Yeah, bit wanky. Yeah,
It was a bit wanky, huh?
So I really didn't want to be involved in all that, so I walked away from it. I'm not sure when or if or how, to be honest with you.
Okay, all right.
But if you check the show notes up above or down below, because Leo's not here, I figured I'd throw that in there.
Where is that, Ginger?
You'll find out a ton of great things about our amazing guest tonight. You can follow his social media. You can check out all the upcoming movies. Just do it. I mean,
that trailer, by the way, was awesome. That they played Leo played right before the.
Oh yeah,
commercials.
I mean, send me a private message and I'll shoot you the screener.
Oh, I know what happened.
Yeah, if you want to have a look at a couple of things I've done, which I'm very, very proud of. One of them is it was done as they originally did it as a proof of concept. It turned out so well after it was edited and they put music to it and did the effects to prove that they could do what they wanted to do, that it's now the first 20 minutes of the actual film. But the short has won 27 first prizes in film festivals all around the world.
Holy crap.
It just turned out it's called Fear of the Woods. And
that's similar to the movie I love.
No, it's not.
It's kind of like that, except it's an 8-foot bear. But you could do it if you wanted to.
8-foot bear, 8-foot.
Talk to it kindly and tickle it under the.
Fear of the Woods.
But no, it's
anything
it's
in the
one
woods
of
is
those,
up my alley.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
It's a horror film. It's great with a bear.
It's like I'm going to say the name of the movie. One of my the newest all-time favorite horror movies, comedy / Don't Fuck in the Woods. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's hysterical and gross at the same time.
Yeah, this one's got a little bit more, to it. But no, it's the shorts up there on the internet, and it's really the photography, the acting. There's only 3 people plus a bear in it. The 2 other people, and we shot it in Sweden. In winter, in about 3 feet of snow, and there's parts of my body that still haven't thawed out. It was so bloody cold in that snow up to my arsehole. But
what kind of bear?
It was worth it.
What kind of bear?
It's a grizzly.
Oh, it was a grizzly.
Oh,
okay,
real.
Cool.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's
Yeah,
8 foot.
I just wrote that down.
It's supposed to be set up in the Alaska wilderness in a little town, and I believe they're going into production later this year on the full film.
Wow.
Which is kind of nice. They had a big poster at Cannes, which was a poster of me with just my head out and my hand stretched out and the look on my face and this huge animal behind me ripping my leg off.
Oh.
Which I thought was
leg.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I've got 2. I can't get rid of one. I'll be fine.
Right?
Yeah, just call me Limpy.
So I know Leo's got another show tonight, and we're a little bit past the time that we usually keep our amazing guests. But
sorry.
No.
Oh no!
Shit, I'll stay here. I'll stay all night.
On going.
I will stay here all night.
I would keep on going.
Well, I could say that if you ever want me back, don't call. But I won't. I'll be nice. Oh, is that what it is? Oh, wait, that's your call sign. Yay, call sign.
Hey, Robert, maybe the way.
So we started off the show tonight talking a little bit about how you were in rock bands.
Yep.
And as I went through your list of all the great achievements that you've done, you've actually appeared in music videos.
Yep.
With a very, very famous heavy band, and that would have been Slayer, where you were in You Against You. How was that?
That was Felicity. She was casting that, and she got all the 80s iconic villains to be in it. And it was funny because I didn't play an iconic villain. I played the warden. And I get killed by the guys breaking out or breaking in, whichever way it went. And they did two of them. They did one for, it was a two-part.
Yep.
And Slayer told her she had to bring me back and put me in the second one because they wanted to have more fun with me. So I got to be in both of them, which was kind of fun. I really enjoyed it, though. Totally out of control band of lunatics.
Yeah, they definitely were out of control. But
Actually.
it was one of those bands that I grew up listening to. So when I came across that in your credits, I said, "Oh, I went back. I watched the video and I'm like, holy shit! I never didn't click, didn't register, folks, didn't register."
Yes. Apart from being on the walls of toilets, I'm in most things that you'll see.
Including erotic films.
Yes.
Yes. I just realized that the ginger Leo is not here, so I have to ask the question. Vernon.
Yes.
Do you collect anything?
I had a great collection that my wife disposed of because some of it was just a little weird from different films. But I tend to get nice things. Like I've got a great sword collection from because I love using swords in my movies if I can, and especially Japanese swords. So I tend to have a nice collection of them. I have a square pig from one film I did because when you've got a spaceship, stacking square pigs is better than round ones. And so I have that. And I had a jar that had a fetus in it, which vanished for some reason. I have no idea why. Maybe the child was born.
Got up and walked away.
But I have little things like that. I have different bits from the series, the kids series I did. I have the whole headpiece and everything.
Nice.
But and I have, fortunately, I have the actual costume I wore in Mad Max. George gave it to me when we finished the film.
Yeah. Do you have the one from Commando?
And I have the one from Commando.
Do you strut around in the house in them?
Right.
Like,
oh, totally. Yes.
With little tidy whities.
Yeah, I wear it to bed just so I can feel good.
I love that.
Look out, he's here. He's up in the left-hand corner.
Oh, we're in trouble.
I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't me.
I know. For those of you watching, I have a massive headache, so that's why I pop in and out. Actually, Vernon, I wanted to make sure. I'm shocked nobody here asked.
We saved it for you.
Oh, I read a very interesting story how you were picked for Commando.
Oh, yeah. Originally, when as I think I said just in passing, when Joel Silver took me to meet the director, he didn't want me. He had someone in mind, and that was the end of it. And I really didn't care because I was happy to go back to Australia. And about 3 months later, I got a phone call saying that we have a ticket for you at the airport. Get your ass on a plane. You're coming back to do Commando. And I never did and still don't know who the actor was that was cast in the role. But after about 3 or 4 weeks, it didn't work. He was always pushing Arnie. He would do things like he would go in and destroy his trailer and leave signs on the windows saying, "I'm after your ass." All this kind of thing. I guess he was a method actor. I don't know, but it pissed Arnie off to the point where he wanted to just quit the movie. So they brought me over. And also the other thing was, as far as I know, apart from all that crap, was that he was taller and thinner than I am, and Arnie was very afraid that in the final fight sequences it would look like he could beat him without trying. He needed someone that actually looked like they could possibly kick his ass. And so that was another thing, part of it. But a funny aside from that was the first day I was there, I was very tired, flown in from Australia. They'd shaved my head, shaved off my beard, made me look like Freddie Mercury, and stuck me in a costume that really didn't fit me because it wasn't mine. And I walked onto the set, and I work differently to some Americans. I tend to watch where everything is, like the camera and the lights and everything, so I know where I've got space to do things. So Arnie apparently, this I can never verify because nobody tells me, but Arnie apparently called Joel Silver over and said, it's not going to work. And the way he said it was, this is not going to work. He's a pussy. I'm an Australian. Don't call me a pussy. Not a good idea. So the first scene we did was, if you've seen the movie, was where I hold the knife to his throat and I go, I would have cut your throat if I had my way. You know, I got the knife there. Yeah. I think it was, if I had my way, I would have cut your throat. And so that was the first scene we did. And I did the scene. And of course, the back of my mind was pussy. And I leapt on poor Arnie, who was chained to a table, and shoved this knife as far up his as I could get it, and delivered the line. And the director said, "Cut, Brent, wonderful." And Joel apparently walked over to Arnold and said, "So you want to recast? I mean, what do you want to do?" And his comment was, "Do not ever give him a real knife." That was it. We became really good friends. We had a great time.
I in prep for today, I found a really old interview of Arnold talking. It was like a daytime show or something like that, saying where, you know, he needed somebody as intimidating as, you know, as he would be, and he saw that in you, and I thought that was just amazing.
Right.
He also said something actually nice about me. He said he's the nicest, cuddliest guy while he's on the set. And the minute they say action, he becomes the greatest lunatic God ever created. And which is true, because I don't act while I'm not on camera.
Right.
It's I just don't know how to. I just wander around being an asshole. And then when they put me in front of go action, then I do what I'm paid to do. You know, I'm not paid to do it while I'm wandering around. Yeah, I always remember being on the set of a film where I had to rape this dead body. Oh boy! And they shot all the wides, and the director came in. He said, "All right, we're going to do your close up." And I said, "Okay." And we did the close up, and he said, "Cut." And he looked at me and he went, "Only time you fucking act is when you're in close up, isn't it?" And I went, "Yeah. Why?" To me, it was, you're 3 miles away from me with a long lens. How the hell are you going to see who it is?
Right.
It could be Joe Schmo for all you know. And when you come in, then you know who it is. I do my job. So, yeah, it's fun. I tend to upset a lot of people, mostly people who do interviews with me. I don't know why.
I don't think you upset anybody here tonight.
No, you just changed. No, but my whole image of Vernon has changed tonight because his first screenshot was his ass.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's what my wife said. You got the greatest ass. Every time we go hiking, she walks behind me. She goes, "Oh, you still got a great ass." Like, oh, for God's sake, woman.
Well, God bless you, because my wife says I have no ass.
Well, I'm sorry. I played football.
I play ping pong.
No.
Yeah, it's. I'm not going there. I'm just going to be nice.
But yeah,
I'll play the gentleman. I'll take the high road.
Oh, this has been so much fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've had such a blast.
Oh my God. I've had a ball too. Anytime, guys. Seriously, if you want me back on after I've done something dumb, just get her dibs to contact me, or you guys can contact me direct. You know where I am.
Do you play Dungeons and Dragons?
And I'd be more than happy to come on and entertain your asses for an hour and 13 minutes and 20
That's
seconds.
fantastic.
Well. But my question is, did we entertain you?
Did I what?
Did we entertain you?
What? I'm sorry, I can't hear this. The sound's gone down. What?
Okay, Jeff. Technical difficulties.
Yes, I've had a ball.
Nice.
No, it's been great. No, it has. I've really enjoyed myself. It's been a lot of fun.
Excellent.
A lot of fun.
Leo, you were going to say something?
No, I was going to say, I do a different show on Mondays. I'd love to have you on, but I can get that information to Ben if you're interested.
So
this Monday you couldn't because I'm filming, but the Monday after you could.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Or the Monday after that, or
the one.
Unless he's filming, and then you're screwed. So
yeah, just
sounds
give
good.
me a buzz. They say,
He's
call
good.
me.
He's good with you, Leo, because you haven't been here all night.
I've been here. I've just been off screen.
Yeah, and we just kind of this show just ran rampant, man. It was going in the right direction. We were talking about the right things, and all of a sudden there was sex again. All of a sudden, it was just like back in the gutter.
You see what happens?
That's what happens when you leave Jeff and Vernon to themselves. I'm just telling you, Leo. Just saying. But
yeah, well, we have the same mind, don't we, Jeff?
Yes, and we're also the elders, so we have a lot more experience.
That's what it is. Yes, we haven't got out of the gutter yet.
Right.
So
and proud of it, damn it.
God damn it, that's right.
Yes.
With that
We're
being
mad as hell, we're not taking that.
Leo told me that he canceled his other show for tonight, so we can keep Vernon as long as we want.
Oh, you did?
Vernon's like, oh, hell no. No. I'm ready to go.
What is the time? I can't. I've got another interview in
that's fine.
10 minutes.
I still got I got to eat my dinner.
So on that note,
yeah, we'll wrap things up. I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Tales from the Other Side is out on VOD right now, so definitely check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And you can find everything there. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run a little thing called the Dorkening Podcast Network. We got about 40 shows on the network. There's a ton of awesome people doing a ton of awesome stuff. Head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find all the latest episodes for all the shows there. And with that being said, Vernon, where do you like interacting with your fans on social media?
Do I like it?
Well, do you like? Do you interact with any fans like on Facebook, Instagram?
Yes. If people write to me, I ignore them. No. If people write to me, I answer. And if I'm busy, my wife answers for me, and nobody ever seems to think it's not me. So what the hell? No, I love my fans writing to me. I always answer and answer their questions as best I can. So yeah, social media is cool.
Okay,
I don't understand it, but it's cool.
As long as it's there, that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Jar Jar.
Check me out on all the shows of the Dorkening. Let's see, Splash Pages, Creator Spotlight, whatever the Wednesday show's called, and come check out Comic Book Lovers Buy Sell Trade Auction House over on Facebook, and I'm Jar Jar Jeremy and all that other stuff. Thanks for having me,
Jeffrey.
Oh, is it my turn?
Oh, sorry.
I've had so much fun, Vernon. This has been a ball. You want to follow us? Just go to stilltoking.com. You'll find everything you need to know. All our social media links are there. Token with the Dead on Facebook. Stay away from my personal Facebook page. Maybe I'll interact. Maybe I won't. I have trouble interacting with myself sometimes. But I do want to say, Vernon, just hang out while we close the show out because I got a question for you after we're not live.
Okay, yeah, there'll be a really, really short musical segment. It's like 10 seconds, something like that. Also, I just really quick, I wanted to shout out for Jar Jar. Thank you so much for covering for me this evening. It's greatly appreciated. You're a good friend. Thank you. And Benjamin.
Yes, thank you to Jar Jar for jumping in tonight, and for all you watching, Jar Jar will be co-hosting next week's show because Mr. Jeffrey will be on vacation. So make sure you tune in next week. To Vernon, thank you so much for coming out and spending time with us. We had a blast. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do every day so people like us can do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. We're out of here.
Catch you guys later. And where's the damn button?